Right. Hello. Ho, 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 spicy people, and welcome to the third episode of a breezy, chilly festive of A Spice on the Hill, a dedicated podcast for the fans and players of Dulwich Hamlet women and the reserves, where we bring a lot of good vibes, friendly, informative, and a lot of spicy stuff with a kick. If you've been on the naughty list or not, that's for sure. I'm your host, Johnny Hourigan, and this is episode number 3, called Twas the Spice Before Christmas. I'll be throwing a lot of Christmas puns in the episode, as why not? Just feel happy and jolly about it. So you get to hear what I mean. What festive hot stuff we'll be bringing, not just for me telling you how the Christmas tale of a spice goes. I am joined by, let's say, the longest serving member of the squad since going back before Dollar Champion Woman was born, but as a separate entity 15 years ago, an international DJ who mixes with football and bangers, parties around the world. Please welcome Lucy Monkman, aka DJ Monki. DJ Monki, she mixes some bangers with Calvin Harris, and the tracks are fucking massive. Excuse my language. Hello, Lucy.
Hi, Johnny.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Happy to be here and happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas to you too. And also, we are joined by the other legend who's been in the beginning, like Lucy, her ride and die, who got married this year. So peaceful to see the good romance and good longest, you know, what love is means a lot from people. That this person two seasons ago hanged up her boots, serving the first team to work for the club board currently now. Please welcome Pink and Blue's captain, leader, and sailor of the ship. Please welcome Captain Brinkley Sailor. Welcome Captain Brinkley Sailor. Welcome Captain Brinkley Sailor to the Spice on the Hill in the evening. Hello, Brit.
Hi, JP. How are you?
I'm right. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for having me on. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Yeah, very excited to have the two legends on the podcast, and that is a wonderful a Christmas treat we're having.
Oh, yeah, we're very happy to be here.
Yes, and also let's welcome back, round of applause, from the first episode who came on for the first time back 2 months ago. It's the club's website and program manager. Let's all cheer now. Is David Rogers. Hello
Hello.
and
Hi
welcome
all.
back.
Hello. Happy Christmas, Johnny.
Happy Christmas, David. How are you?
Yeah, good, yeah. Yeah, we had a good day yesterday, so we stayed out quite late, so I'm a bit tired, but apart from that, all good.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of that later on this episode.
Yeah.
So, now we got guests all filled up in the firing hot seats, as literally sitting metaphorically sitting on there. We're explorer in two halves, pun intended, looking into the Christmas past of asking a life where they came from, what made they got into football in the first place, how they benefited their life, of balancing between work and football, and if it wasn't for football, that made a significant difference, depending on where everyone is, where would everyone would be right now? Although I did ask that question to David in the first episode, but don't worry, I got different relations of questions for him to come up with something I have made up along as I go. And then, as soon as after the first half, we're exploring the second half, investigating the recent events just in time for the Christmas present, and to look forward to the Christmas yet to come, and any New Year resolution to expect in 2026. If you got one, save that till to the last. And also, I'll touch on the coach Maria Tavares, who have left her post as the Dollar Champion Women's Manager, and quickly Richie Byrne has stepped up to steer the ship, setting course on its rocky journey towards the second half of the season. We are live on Mixler, so anyone who is on there, you can ask me, Lucy, Britt, and or David anything you want to ask, and don't thank God, hallelujah, I got this one sorted because last time I tried to do it on the second episode with Erin, Summer, and Alyssa. I couldn't get the live event happening, so I had to keep it on Zoom only purposes for that one. But I did keep my promise to keep the chili flames burning alive, and I did it exactly like that. You can also listen back on this episode on wherever devices you're listening, either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, on whichever suitable for you. You can watch and listen along with the 2 episodes that if you're already caught up on the spicy train already, or you're listening for the first time. Don't matter, but you still can tune in however you want. So let's begin with the first half, traveling into the Christmas past, right after this effort. Hello, and welcome to the first half. As the whistle blows, we can now explore into the Christmas past of where they all began. Lucy, before you mastered the best of both worlds of DJing and football that you're currently doing now, what was it like when you were playing football to begin with during early years of childhood, and how music really drove you into that path before wanting to play again?
So I started playing football when I was about 5 years old. I'm sorry if you hear Gunnar barking in the background as well. He's making a few fussy noises, but I'll try and keep him quiet. And I started playing just in my nan's back garden, really. And then I started to play at school, just in the playground. And I remember watching all the boys line up against the wall, and 2 captains kind of pick each person as you do when you're a kid. And I just went to go line up one lunch break, and I didn't get picked last, which I think gave me a lot of confidence. And from there, I played with the boys in school, and then I got picked up by a couple of Centre of Excellences. So I went through Chelsea and Fulham for a little bit. And then when I was about 14, I kind of stopped playing because I really wanted to play as a profession, but you couldn't do that when I was younger. And when I found that out, it was quite disheartening. So I kind of gave it up, and I still play sport like casually. And then I got into music when I was about 16, and that kind of took over. And then I didn't start playing again until I was about 24. So I had a big gap. I had a big 10-year gap. And I joined Phoenix around that age. And that's obviously where me and Brit first played together. So that was kind of my journey. Quite common case, I think, for a lot of women my age, stopping playing. But I'm so happy that I came back, and I never thought I'd come back to a club like Dulwich and be playing in front of fans like yourself, Johnny. So I'm very happy I did.
And when you started to explore the other path of music, like what made you wanted to do music in the first place? Like, did someone influence you get into that path, or was it something that you found some inspiration from somewhere?
So I always had music playing in my house. My mum used to listen to like a lot of dance music, and my uncle used to listen to like a lot of garage. So there was always dance music sort of blaring in my house somewhere. And I remember like getting really obsessed with radio when I was younger. Like I loved listening to specialist radio, like late at night on BBC Radio 1, and then also on the pirate stations in South London. So that's kind of what got me into it, got me interested. And then I remember our dogs come to join. He said, I remember listening to a DJ called Annie Mac for the first time when I was about 15. And I remember hearing her show on a Friday night, and I think hearing a woman's voice for the first time in that peak slot really like inspired me and made me think that it was something that I could do myself. And then I actually got to know Annie. I actually messaged her on MySpace. That's how I got to know her. And then I ended up on the set of a TV show that she was presenting, and she was extremely kind and gave me a lot of time, and then invited me into Radio 1 just to sit in and listen to her show. And I remember I was 17 because they all went out to Fabric afterwards and I wasn't allowed to go. And yeah, from there I went and I worked at sort of various local radio stations, and Rinse FM, which was a pirate at the time, gave me my first shot in East London. And someone basically was sick one day and didn't turn up for their show, so I covered and I ended up keeping it. So yeah, it was a real snowball effect. It all happened extremely fast. But I would say my first inspiration in the house was probably my mum listening to like a lot of Prodigy and 808 State and stuff like that. And then my first role model is probably Annie. She's actually come to a few Dulwich games. She's been hiding in the stands.
Wow. Annie Mac was at Dulwich Hamlet.
She was, yeah.
Wow. Very, very impressive. I mean, you know, it's quite funny. I have started learned about music when I was at my youth club. Music was the first thing that I fell in love with a passion when I was leaving school before I went to college. I studied music, technology, well, BTech courses when I was at Kingston. And well, was there for a year. I was meant to go another level, but then something happened of the course got cut off for me to go on to. They gave me two options: either do another different topic course at Kingston or try another course somewhere at South Thames, which I went to one that's not far from where I live, near Clapham Junction, and I was there for 3 years, studied level 2 full diploma, and then 2 years of level 3 of music technology, or they have a different name because it was BTEC, but they changed to University Arts of London, UAL type of course, and I liked it. I mean, first year of level 3 wasn't that bad. It just was hard to catch up. Well, not catch up, but it's struggling to maintain the hard work of intensity. But then I learned that for the second part of final year to get everything on the go. That's why I love music. I remember make some house tracks when I was at South Thames. I made some, what was it, one remix, some couple of in the originals, including experimental I made for a sort of like a dissertation, but it's called like a final project I did in my final year, which went well. And I love house music in general, listening like when I go to the gym, listening before I start training, because it's like energetic and enticing, isn't it, Lucy?
To be honest, it sounds like you're more qualified than I am.
Oh,
Yeah, house music is what I play now, but I like all kinds of music for sure.
yeah.
And there's a lot of similarities between music and football, I think, which is why I love them both. You know, they both bring people together. They're both really strong communities. They both like spread a lot of joy. So I feel very lucky to be able to do both for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get you in the studio, Johnny, aren't I?
Yeah,
Gonna be her secret weapon, JP.
yeah, could be a secret weapon. And also, a bit like you, Lucy, I do DJing like well when I first started back when I was 14 actually. First learned it when I was at my youth club and learned it from one of the youth clubs I went to in Wandsworth and just carried on with that passion all the way and even remembered like was it over 14 years ago I first started doing DJing at my youth club for like monthly discos like every month, including like one for Christmas. And I bring like memorable CDs. I used to burn CDs on my old laptop or some computers I used to borrow. Don't know what type it was, Windows 8, 7, something like that. God, I don't, not really that old, but at least oh, but yeah, the monthly discos used to be like, a good thing. And then when I was in my college, I even did was it like a session DJs for, presentation. I used to blend like, beats, composition to transition from one song to another, and basically just, I just carried on from there. And I still do it like currently, but I don't do much like recently now because I'm a bit more busy with what I'm doing, but I have not lost the touch of music.
You're a busy
Yeah.
guy.
So, yeah, we have something in relation that, we all can relate to, isn't it?
Yeah. How many? When was your last show? When was your last gig?
Last gig was in the summer in July, just a week after my birthday. It was awards evening with my other football team in Elephant Castle.
Nice, nice. The girls haven't actually got me to play a gig for them yet, but obviously they did come to Croatia a couple of seasons ago, so
Yeah.
they got the full experience, I think.
Well, if you ever need a DJ, I can help you.
Okay,
Back to back.
back to back.
Back to
Yeah,
back.
Yeah,
you're
back to back.
you're in my contact, so don't worry.
Yes. Yeah,
If I need
keep
a
me in the
helping
loop.
hand, I will do.
All right, and Brit, where did you start sailing football in the seven seas initially?
So I started playing football in America, where we call it soccer. So I started playing soccer when I was young. So I started playing 10, just a rec league in my community. So in my neighborhood, they're basically during summer holidays, they put on this kind of soccer camp. And so it was basically, I think, just so that the parents could get a break from their kids during summer break. But they took us down, played some soccer, and that's sort of where I started, just for fun. It was mixed, so boys and girls. And yeah, I was pretty relaxed. And then once I got into what we refer to as middle school, I don't know what that is here. So yeah, middle school, I started playing for my school. And then after that, I started playing club as well. So I played for my school as well as club. And that's where I started in the States, in a state called Indiana.
Wow, you're like Aaron and Alyssa when they first started their journeys. In the last episode, when they said about there's a lot of like sports program through
Yeah.
like either through schools or through like soccer camps they go through before like either get scouted or just carried on with education purposes like through high school or then college.
Yeah. It's so one of the things I'll say is that the women's sports provisions in the States is quite good. And it has been for quite a long time. So I feel very fortunate to have options. I played all kinds of sports, and even kind of high school level and uni level, it's taken very seriously, almost professionally, really. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to play for as long as I did and for as much as I did.
Yeah, and then another burning question, well, I would ask you is when after progressing through like middle school with everything you have learned along the way, what made you wanted to come to the UK initially?
So I came to the UK because of work. So when I left America in 2010, and then I lived in South Korea for 2 years. And then after that, I moved to New Zealand and I lived there for about 4 years. And it was there that I started working for a company, and they wanted to open a branch in the UK, and they asked me if I wanted to go. And I said, yes, most definitely. I'll go to London. And so I came. I actually came with work. I didn't come for football specifically. It was through my job.
And how did you hear about AFC Phoenix?
Facebook.
No, it was Gumtree, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gumtree,
Gumtree,
actually.
yeah.
Oh, Gumtree, yeah.
So I didn't know the football pyramid here at all. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what levels were what. And actually I couldn't even find anything online really. And so I looked online for a football team and it came up on Gumtree.
I found it on Gumtree too.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, that's how you met Lucy and some other people who were there in the beginning before Dulwich Hamlet Women was born.
Yeah. So we had a really, really close team, didn't we? So we had two teams similar to the setup now, a first team and a reserves team. We were in tier 5 for a really long time. So like we suffered there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Oh, we were in
We're in
tier
tier 6,
and then
we're
we
in
got
tier 6.
promoted and at tier 5. And so it was me, Lucy, Ria,
Ria, Elmore, who doesn't play
Zoe
anymore.
Elmore, Helen, who is the reserves coach.
Yeah.
So she was a part of the team. Yeah, there's quite a few. Ella, who used to play, Rosie. Yeah, there's Sauce. There's quite a few. So yeah, whom we all have good friendships and are still quite close with, which is really nice.
Yeah, that explains why everyone, like, even before and after, like, when Dulwich Hamlet was born, then, new players, well, players who were new before back then, felt more at ease when you have a tight unit with everyone, feel like you ease them in without, like, making them feel like, feeling lonely, isolated, as long as you welcome them in their arms, like, we're part of the, spicy fam or something.
Yeah, that's one thing I'll say about Well Phoenix and then Dulwich now is that it's a very welcoming group. It's you don't really get players that leave or that say they haven't been welcomed. In fact, it's the opposite. So many players when they come, they just say thank you so much for welcoming me. It's a very friendly environment, a very competitive still, but a community environment where we all care about each other a lot.
Yeah. No wonder why I could see that, today how it was established before. It's like it's the same thing now, continuing on 15 years going.
Yeah, it's really amazing. It's really amazing that we've been able to continue to thrive and be successful. And now as Dulwich, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah. And David, we know your role as a club website manager and program editor.
Yeah.
I think I didn't recall asking specifically, like, what job do you do in the both roles you have to operate, day to day for the club?
Right. So I'll go back to when I first started at the club. Well, I came with Mel, our general manager, back in 2012, I think, because we wanted to go to a football match. But I'd been into football and as well house music, which you're all into as well. Well before that, so I used to have a season ticket at Manchester City, used to sit on the North Stand. Then once the final whistle blew, we'd head off to some club like Cream in Liverpool or up to Orbit in Leeds for some tech day. So that all sort of fits in around there. But I moved to London 20 years ago now, I think. God, time flies. 20 years ago, and we used to watch football on the telly in the pub, but we thought, well, we should really go to some league games, see what's around. So we came to Dulwich Hamlet and never looked back, really. So then I think me and Mel both went on the Supporters Trust about 2 or 3 years. So we're doing a lot of work on there with refugees in Calais and other promotions we've got. Then I decided to tackle the website because we had a dreadful website before. It was one of those websites you sign up to and you can't really change anything and someone else hosts it for you. So we wanted to do a lot more with that. So rebuilt it not last summer, the summer before. At this round about the same time, John Lawrence got ill. He used to do the men's programmes, so I took on the men's for a bit. I don't do the men's at the moment, so that's still not available. And I've always done the women's programme since they joined us because I thought it's important they had exactly the same matchday experience as the men's team do, that included a programme. So we got that going. From the first match they played with us, really. It's evolved a lot since. It's the design's a lot better because we've had Phil helping us out with the designs. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do, covers it.
It doesn't get easier when, like you have to put, the information to be put down, correct, like in terms of like when someone does an interview, say like whenever there's a manager, whenever there's one of the players, like something specific about it, and also stats you're getting from, was it the FA website to say how many
Yeah,
wins, draws, losses, and how many goals scored and against doesn't
yeah,
come like easy to make sure you have to look at that fine print before it's printed in ink, and then
yeah.
once it's out there, there's no changing.
Yeah, that's the time-consuming bit, getting all the stats together. Ian Kemp keeps in a spreadsheet with all the stats, so that's useful to refer to. But then you refer into the FA website, which is not the best of websites. Sorry, FA. So that is probably the most time-consuming, getting all the stats together each week, get all the scores updated on the scores page. The rest really is sent to me from interviews with players, and I just cut and paste it in really. So yeah, it's the stats that are the big time consuming bits.
I always like, look up facts, even through match day programs, does help give, much more of the story about like not just like match day report or something about the stats about it, but what really intrigues me about a match day program, and especially if you put it on the website, like,
Yeah,
information's there to look at the facts about, you know, any players, it's talking about, what the moment is for them, like a milestone, how they were named player of the match, or player of the month, or player of the season, whichever specific type, player's player, or whatever they put out. I mean, that's how, for yourself, you look at the information, you put it down, and even if people just look at the match day program and say like, yep, and then done, but people keep it, that's a special thing,
yeah,
like
yeah.
something to look back on.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of bought by parents for the children because the children love the programs. They love getting signed at the end. The big queue for players to sign them at the end. I think that's great.
Right. Just gonna move on to the next question, for Lucy to say, well, I might want to ask what jobs everyone does, but obviously we now gave away about what everyone does. But I could take it another angle to ask, you, Lucy, how often DJing do you do, like, say, during the year, or that festivals and radio events in between of playing football?
Yeah, so my busy period is actually most of like our off season in terms of football. So my busy period is the summertime when it comes to DJing. So mainly festivals and a lot of travel to Ibiza. I used to do it all year round, like 12 months a year. But in all honesty, I quite like a 10 o'clock bedtime these days. And it doesn't get
Don't we
easier.
all?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't get easier sort of stepping off a plane from Ibiza and then going to training as you get older. So the last couple of years, probably since COVID actually, I've toured in the summer, and then I've taken a break during touring in the winter. So when we're playing football, and I'll do the odd gig, but not too much during the winter time. Like maybe I'll go on tour for like a week or like 10 days. But outside of that, it's usually from about May, so the end of our football season, to about the end of September. So I do pre-season while I'm touring a bit, which is always hard to juggle. But yeah, it's a lot of it definitely requires a lot of discipline and a lot of routine. But my party days are well behind me now, so it's not too hard. So yeah, that's usually my schedule.
And was there any particular events that was your favorite, and why is it your favorite?
Blimey, from the past sort of 12 years, I'd say it's always really special playing Glastonbury. I think that's
Yeah,
Like,
I was at that gig. I was at that gig.
oh yeah, you were, weren't you? Yeah, you were. Were you with Joe as well?
We were waving at you, but you couldn't see us because you were right up there.
Yeah, yeah. That was a fun one actually, because a lot of the girls I think quite a few of the girls were there, to be honest.
Yeah,
It was right. Elton John had just finished on the Pyramid stage.
Yeah, I came straight from Elton John. That was a cracking gig. Then
Yeah,
came to see you.
yeah. They had a good old cry at Elton John, and then
Yeah.
I showed just the stage. But it kind of meant that we sort of captured a lot of the people like moving through.
Yeah.
So that was really, really fun. And like
It was busy. Yeah.
it was really busy, yeah. And playing with friends, I was playing with a couple of mates like back to back, and it's always really fun. And Glastonbury's are always extremely silly. So I'll probably say Glasgow is definitely up there. And going back to Ibiza every year for the last sort of 10 years is very special as well.
Right. And Brit, I may say, for you working at the club is different than how you were playing, when you played for Dulwich Hamlet. How did you have to adjust your routine to work with the club as opposed to, not going to training or running around the pitch on the Sunday regularly?
Yeah, it was a big adjustment for me. I think I still miss playing. I mostly miss games. I don't miss training that much. But it was a big adjustment for me to move from being on the pitch where you feel like you can have a direct impact to not being on the pitch, but feeling like your impact is from a little bit further away. But yeah, it was a big adjustment time-wise. Less time consuming at times, but obviously because we brought in new staff and it's been a big change this year, it's been very, very time consuming from that perspective. So yeah, I probably work on Dulwich. I volunteer, so it's not a paid role. It's an entirely voluntary role, and I probably work on Dulwich things most days, honestly. So goes from training 3 times a week to working on Dulwich stuff probably most days.
I would say, when I first met you when you were playing, just before you retired, to see you now like standing on the side, it does feel a bit different. Like, I've already started to get to know you were playing, but then it's like I just caught up in the moment where before you retired 2 seasons ago, where you pushed the team to go up from the regional league to the national league. I mean, looking back on that, you thought, all the years you played, did you wish you want to relive those moments, or you just thought, I had my time on that, but, I can preserve it as like a memory, like to carry that legacy. Now you worked your way to the top to, now as a person who lived through, breathed through the pitch, it's like, working your way on the top, is it?
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, I guess if my body still worked the way that it used to, if age wasn't a factor, I would certainly, and not just age, I don't mean age, but how your body ages. If that wasn't as much as a factor, I would still certainly be playing. But having played at such a high level for so long, when your body doesn't do what your brain wants it to do, and when it's very hard to recover, for that, it just made it not as enjoyable for me. I'm knowing what I want to do, but not being able to do it in the speed. And then I would go from games on Sunday to training on Wednesday, and I would still be very sore. And that for me just wasn't very fun trying to manage that. So I kind of chalk it up as like I had my time, and I'm so happy that I built the memories that I have. I feel like I made the best out of the time I had. I played as much as possible with as many different people as possible for as long as was feasible at the level that I wanted to. So yeah, I kind of mark it down as just amazing memories. And I still play a little bit. I play 7-a-side, only, it's 40 minutes on a Saturday, just once a week, or maybe once every other week. So I still try to stay in the mix a little bit. But yeah, from a high level, I kind of mark it down as I really achieved a lot, and I'm really proud of what I achieved, and I had a lot of fun.
And David,
Yeah.
it's very impressive to see, for someone like Brit and Lucy, who have, came a long way from AFC Phoenix heydays to now, like, I know one still currently plays for the team, the other one now works for the club in some capacity of the role. Isn't that really nice to see? We've still got two legends, in the house in the Champion Hill.
Absolutely, yeah. I was very happy when Brit said she was staying on, becoming a director, because I think it's just what the club needed. A director with more of a focus on the women's team. And I think she did a great job, Brit. And it's great we've still got Lucy with us, because we can stick her on when we need a goal, and she'll go and score probably a goal within a minute, like yesterday. So yeah, I'm very pleased that everyone's stuck with the club. They were very instrumental in the changeover from FC Phoenix to Dulwich Hamlet, and it's great we've still got them.
Yeah, let's start with this burning question from a friend of mine called Dean Mears, who have hosted the Chelsea Women's Fan podcast for 4.5 years before stepping down to coach his son's football team. He really enjoyed the episode I released last month, the latest episode he meant, and he followed up with this excellent question. Where does the spice on the hill come from, and what's the spicy connection to Dulwich Hamlet Women's Football Club? I mean, I could say on the podcast, for me to say is fairly on the nose. The club has a strong association of spicy football because of their exciting play and fiery spirit, and even the fans are called the Pepper Army, and the home ground Champion Hill quite literally sits on the hill in East Dulwich. That combination of an idea to name this podcast is what led me to this title, A Spice on the Hill. However, a second part of Dean's question really made me think more deeply. It's something I would really like to explore, to ask Brit and Lucy, who were back with the team when it was still called AFC Phoenix. I remember I asked that question before when speaking with you two in one of the matches. I can't remember what one. But where does the spicy identity come from originally, and how did it carry through both before and after the merger with Dulwich Hamlet in 2019?
Ready to go?
Yeah.
So when we first merged with Dulwich, we had a head coach, and his name was Farouk Menya, and he was our head coach as AFC Phoenix, and then part of the first season as Dulwich Hamlet. And he was extremely passionate about football. We loved him all very much, but he sadly passed away the same year. I think it was 2019. And one of his sayings before we go out on the pitch was to play spicy football. His English was his second language, so he often came out with these quite funny quotes, but we completely understood what he meant. And when he passed away, we got a picture of him spray painted at Champion Hill. You can see it by the outside bar, actually. And that was kind of his saying. And then when we started to gain some fans, they really picked it up on the history of that, and sort of commemorated him through naming the fan group the Pepper Army. And all the chilies came out, and yeah, they did a brilliant job of creating an amazing sort of story with that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't knew there was some connection to it, even when you explained it before. I mean, I know I'm barely new to learn about the ethos of what made the club so niche with its fans and the community around the area. Unlike any other clubs I can think of, clubs have their own niche of identity, like Arsenal, Gunners, Chelsea are like known for winning trophies. Winning is the aim. Example like that, and even Lewis known for his equality, injustice of bridging the gap of equal pay of like FA Cup prizes, for example, disparity between either which they're still campaigning at to this day, even though well, they lost in the third round against Crystal Palace, which it was a good match to see, but they have displayed a lot of their ethos on what they are known for. And Dulwich Hamlet, I know when I think of them now, it's spicy football, displaying loud and clear.
Yeah. I think as Lou said, I think it's actually something I didn't really think about how much that the fans and the club really kind of brought that ethos and accepted it and adopted it and made it the identity of the women's team. And I think it's important actually. We had some new players in the club this week that they didn't know where it came from. And I think it's important that we continue to talk about it and live it. And yeah, it was really, we loved our manager very much. And I actually think he is one of the reasons why we are how we are, having an accepting, inclusive, welcoming environment where everybody's welcome. And yeah, like you said, people aren't lonely or isolated in our team. And he was a part of building that fabric. So yeah, it's really nice that it lives on.
And I will say to Dean, if you're listening, that's your questions have been answered. And you know, lastly, just before we end the first half, you know, for Brit and Lucy, even since when you first started back with ASC Phoenix, how much of the difference you would see now if it wasn't for you learned about AFC Phoenix when you found it on Gumtree, or maybe put it this way, let's say if it wasn't for the passion of love for football, I don't know where you all would be right now.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, there are probably two or three big sort of things that definitely are like real crossroads in my life, or definitely my adult life, and I definitely think AFC Phoenix and Dulwich is one of them for sure. So who knows where I'd be? Maybe a bit burnt out on tour somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably be a workaholic or something. Probably if I didn't, I stayed very strict. When I played, I was very, very strict to making sure that I showed up for training, even when I had work and was traveling for work. So yeah, I'd probably be a workaholic. So I'm very happy that I had Dulwich and football, and maybe I'd be a bit lonely as well. I wouldn't have friends because every country that I've ever lived in, all my friends are football friends. Those are the friends I have. So
Same.
Yeah, I'd probably be lonely, no friends, workaholic.
And David, you would have imagined like if Lucy and Brit have not been there in the beginning before say AFC Phoenix came to Dulwich Hamlet, I think would you think in the ideal scenario, say if AFC Phoenix joined Dulwich Hamlet back in 2019 without Brit and Lucy, it would feel a bit different, would it? Otherwise,
I'm pretty
neither of the
sure
two would have had the
yeah.
milestone success of how much of achievements they have did.
Yeah, that certainly helped with their success and getting promoted a couple of seasons ago. And they both, well, the entire team bring everything to the table. The fans love the team. We've grown massively since 2019. There wasn't so many there yesterday because I think it was Christmas, but we're sort of getting 400 or 500 people. We never ever envisaged getting that many people through the gates on a Sunday. Also, there's a bit of crossover with the men's team, but a lot of the growth is organic as well from the perspective of the women's fans, which I think is an amazing thing as well. I think a lot of the team have helped with that, especially Brit and Lucy. I'd definitely have less work to do at the football club without the women's team. But I enjoy doing it and it keeps me busy and it keeps me off the streets, so to speak.
Well, I guess we all now understand that, bit like the film It's a Wonderful Life, if George Bailey had not been born or hadn't made the impact, the world would be so very different.
Yeah. I might have joined a gang or something like that,
Well, I think I would probably be in a different place if it wasn't for many people who have taught me valuable life lessons, and even I'll probably be in a different place if I have not heard of Dulwich Hamlet.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the first half of the Christmas past, even though we have spent so much, reminiscing about it. But now let's get straight into the second half, to the Christmas presents and the Christmas yet to come, straight away after this. Hello and welcome back to the second half as the whistle blows for the final time, and we'll look at the Christmas present results in November and December, and we'll look into the Christmas yet to come of upcoming fixtures in the new year with resolutions, what to look at, which we'll ask later in the end. And I will touch on more on Maria, on what happened, and with Richie stepping in for the first match he undertook before Christmas, and how this will go with the team into the second half of the season. Now, the first team results as follows. Since after the 2-week break from them, which I'll explain in a bit, they played AFC Sudbury away, losing 4-1. Actians at home, losing by a goal deficit. Then they played against Norwich, losing also by a goal deficit. And then the final game before capping off on a high, which we will talk about really, really shortly soon, capping off a draw against Luton Town at home. And the first team are currently 9th with 3 wins, 1 draw, first draw after that yesterday's Sunday game, and 8 losses. Now, Brit, after the team had a 2-week break, since the following numerous players were injured, which they had to forfeit Women's National League Cup match against Lewis to preserve everyone to recover, I would have thought, more or less everyone had the opportunity, to bounce back, to get themselves in the groove again. And I know the results, the way we look at it, is daunting by the outcome, how it didn't find a way to overcome, say, opponents, what tactics or what things was in the way, no matter where they are on the table. What are your thoughts on the losses before that final home game?
I think, yeah, there were some tough games, I think. And as you mentioned, the team has suffered a lot of significant injuries, long-term injuries, both quite rare types of injuries. So things like a heart condition, things along those lines, but also soft tissue injuries that you expect at this point in the year, particularly with the training ground. So I would say, yeah, I think the team suffered from injuries and having to play people that maybe aren't in their normal positions. And so because of that, maybe there was less cohesion than we would normally expect at this time of the year. But yeah, I think it was tough. I would say about the Sudbury match, I went there. I was very surprised at actually how good they were. I think they don't really deserve to be where they are from what I saw. I think they had signed some players as well throughout the year. So, they were a decent side. We should have obviously had a bit of a better score, but I think we've had to rely on maybe people playing out of position, maybe not playing where they normally play, and that could have impacted the team. And then I would say it had improved throughout the month. So while obviously the Sudbury game left a lot to be desired, I think there was a really good improvement. And then to be able to take Norwich to 90 plus minutes and then obviously concede, unfortunately, with a penalty, it was very unfortunate. But I think it was a really, really good display. And in fact, I think the players, from what I understood, got clapped off the pitch by the Norwich fans. So what I'll say is that opening match, not desirable, but we moved and improved throughout the remaining matches throughout the month.
And Lucy, what was it like for you as a player going through these phases of game after game of the results that you don't often say want to look at it or think about it or talk about it, but how did you feel like prior to the last game that you and everyone felt?
Yeah, it's really tough. And I think actually it's really important to like talk about it and think about it and reflect as a team and as individuals. Um, I think especially in the Norwich game, it was really difficult because everyone really left everything out there. So losing is always really tough, especially when people are putting in the work and training every week and things just aren't coming off for us on Sundays. Norwich was a really tough game and we definitely put in the work. But I think the last two games, the Norwich game and the Actonians game, I think the positives that we did take away from that were that the goals that we conceded were things that we can fix. They were in our control. And so we just had to go back to training in the week and fix the things that we know we can and control what we can. And it was a really important point on Sunday against Luton Town. And I'm really happy that we came away with something because I think we deserved it.
And David, for you looking at the results where you were standing while you were working, what did you think of the results, before the final home game?
The home games, I don't think we had a great last home game. I can't remember who we played now. Was it Actonians?
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I can't really comment on the away game because I've not been to get to as many as I usually do because I've had stuff on. So, yeah, we definitely had lots of problems, as Brit and Lucy said, with injuries, and that really, really didn't help. I think we're really unfortunate with the Lewis match and having to call that off because we've got so many injuries. I think we had lots of bad luck, basically, and we do seem to be turning things around now because I thought yesterday was a cracking performance. Did I listen to the Norwich game on the radio? I was following the live feed. Anyway, that sounded really positive. So I think we're going to turn a corner now. I think we're going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, after the three losses after the 2-week break, the club released a statement last week regarding about Maria, and I have read and can read out loud to say that the Dulwich can confirm that Maria Tavares have left her position as a manager in the women's first team. Maria joined the club in the summer and oversaw the promising start to the 2025-26 season, with 6 wins in the first 2 months, but the 4 of those victories came in the cup run, with 5 defeats in the past 6 matches, and the league form had left us significantly short of the targets that we all agreed for the league at the start of the season. The club has taken the decision to make this change with immediate effect following a detailed review process and begun a transition plan to provide the team with the support they need. We would like to thank Maria for all the hard work and wish her the best for the future. Before the final home game against Luton, shortly a few days later, Maria's right-hand person, Ricky Byrne, had agreed with the club to step up as a new head coach, along with the existing coaches and volunteers like Lukian. Is that right? Saying that?
Lakem,
yeah.
Lakem, Manu, Alka, and Sonia to continue their roles for the second half of the season to steer the team going forward. And, it's nice to have, like the same people with Richie, so he doesn't want to work with, different other people while having the, people he knows is the positive for everyone going forward. Brit, when Maria was hired at the start of the season with the target she was promised to deliver, I mean, as what we saw, there was progress that have been made, especially how, the transition is not easy, from after Ryan have left to having someone new coming in. Most teams often get that sometimes with some transitions are not easy, whether people like it or don't like it, what ideas to go ahead with. But recently with the statement that Ben put out, saying that the league form was one of the concerns that it didn't promise to deliver, hence why Maria had left her position, as the statement has said. What was like, for you going through the process of when the board had to make the decision, and how did you feel about that final verdict?
Yeah, it's always disappointing, I think, when things don't necessarily work out the way that you want. I think Maria put in a lot of effort and the players really responded to her, and she brought in great staff. And so it is disappointing when you maybe have to do something that, wasn't in your sight originally, obviously, when you bring someone in. So yeah, it was difficult, I'd say.
Yeah. And Lucy, when you heard about the announcement about Maria, how did you and everyone felt about the news?
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone wants it to work out, but everybody knows that football is a results-based sport and business, and if we're not getting the result, then unfortunately, quite often there has to be changes. So I'm sure you'll see her again pop up somewhere. It's unfortunate it didn't work out in pink and blue, but we just kind of have to look forward now and concentrate on the next game and try and pick up some points.
Honestly, I can't imagine if I was inside as opposed to being on the outside of what people were thinking or saying about the announcement about it. I would have had a similar reaction to like Brit and Lucy. But what did you think about that announcement, David?
Okay, so yeah, it's always sad when you have to lose a colleague. But I think we were getting to the stage where we were possibly on a wrong trajectory, and we were just maybe relying on two clubs being worse than us at the end of the season, which we can't do really. So I don't really want to comment too much on staffing matters, but I think you've got to hit your targets. If there's a danger of getting relegated, we don't want to be going down back to the league with the really, really long name. Because it's absolute nightmare to get out of that league, as we found out, and it took a lot of hard work from everybody involved to get us out of that league. So yes, very sad, always sad when the manager has to go, but I think it's probably the right decision by the club.
Well, I mean, I forgot to know Maria, very well.
Yeah.
Especially, how nice she is.
Yeah.
But I know people may think of what people think of her. And to be honest, if Maria's listening out there, I know what you did, what you tried to do, even if some things don't go the way or how some things work and sometimes doesn't. But it's about, trying something and maybe to learn something like, all managers, no matter where they are in the level where they are, sometimes there are pitfalls and some things to get yourself back up. So, Maria, best of luck to you wherever you are. Hopefully, to meet you somewhere, see you somewhere soon. And after Maria left, Richie stepped up, given his extensive player resume when he was in the League of Ireland, Scottish Premier League, and the English Football League. Of all the clubs he played in domestic and European, respectively, in matches, he had accumulated years of coaching expertise in senior football, youth development, and performance. He has led training programs, created player development pathways, and contributed to the first team sets technical and cultural standards. By keeping him at the club, how do you think he will do going forward, everyone?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in training with him for like a week last week, and I think it's really promising. He obviously has a wealth of knowledge, like he's played at the highest level. So we're just trying to be like sponges at the moment and sort of take it all in and kind of go back to the basics. And we worked a lot on sort of tightening up defensively this week, and I think that's definitely showed in the last game. A bit more organised. Also, everyone's enjoying the sessions as well, which is really important. And yeah, look to the new year. I'm looking forward to getting back, to be honest. We have training this week, and then we have a Christmas break, and then we're straight back in, and we've got an early game in January, so there's no rest for us. But everyone's looking forward to training and looking forward to working with Richie for into the new year. And I think hopefully it all goes well.
And well, I'm gonna say in the last home game of the year, it looked like things were gonna end on a whimper with a narrow loss to Luton until you, DJ Monki, tapped in the clutching equaliser deep in the stoppage time before end of the game with wild celebration like Christmas came early, almost like a winner when trailing by a goal deficit. I mean, what was like for you going through that moment when you scored the equaliser, Lucy?
I think I just blacked out when I scored, to be honest. Well, firstly, I think Salon came in as a winger, so an unlikely assist, and Jody did a brilliant job of sort of running inside and taking on a player, and then laying off C, and C took a great first touch, and then just whipped it in the box in a really good area. And for a second, to be honest, I thought it was going to go in, but it hit the crossbar, and luckily I was in the right place at the right time, and I kind of just hooked it with my left foot, and I was just really happy for the team, the staff, for the club, and also massively for the fans as well. So that's why I went over there to celebrate with them, because Luton are sitting with us very close to us in the table, so it was a really, really important point. And on a selfish note, I haven't scored this season yet, which is always not a great feeling for an attacker. So I was really happy to get off the mark.
David, Britt, did you felt, in the words of ecstatic, elevated, overjoyed, euphoric when you saw that reaction?
Yeah, I was stood next to Brit, I think, when that went in. We were all jumping around, weren't we, Brit?
I'm surprised I didn't punch you in the face because of how crazy I was going if we were standing next to each other. Because I just mental. I went absolutely mental just because about it. We needed a goal. The people that assisted and scored the goals, the period that it happened, it's just such tension building up.
Yeah.
It was a great celebration, and
it was
crazy.
It was something we definitely needed. The fans needed it. It lifted everyone yesterday. Everyone at the club lifted yesterday. It wasn't a win, but it felt a little bit like a result, didn't it? Little bit of a corner turned. So yeah, it was good.
Well, now we lived in the Christmas present. We've done that. Now let's investigate the Christmas yet to come of the following games into January as follows. We start away game against Chesham United on the 4th of January. And then our home is against Millwall Lionesses in the Capital Senior Cup on the 18th of January. And then followed by Fulham away at Motzer Park. Familiar place, I know. On the 25th of January. I know there are 3 fixtures, including a different cup match now, which is different to, the Women's National League Cup, and the other one was the Estimian Cup. But this is a different one now. Now, I want to ask you all, which one of the games really caught your eye the most?
I think they're all important games for very different reasons. Obviously, the first game is an opportunity for us to pick up points. Millwall love a local rival. I think that's going to be a spicy game and a cup game as well. And Fulham are our old enemies of the Laser Waffle League. And it's an away game. And the last game with them at home was tight. So I think, all very important games. I always enjoy playing Fulham, though. I always think it's a really good game.
David? Oh, Britt?
You okay, Britt?
Yeah, I think similar to Luce. I think we need to start the year as we mean to go on. So I think they're all important games, and all of them will look quite different as the team, I think. And so it'll be good to see kind of the range in which the team can play. So I suspect some to be more defensive and some to be more attacking. So yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to the month, and not any one game in particular, but I think we need to really push for a strong start.
And David?
Yeah, I've got any game in particular, really, but I'm looking forward to the Millwall game. Always like playing them. I think we've got quite a good record against them, actually, overall, over the last 6 years. Cheshire United, I think we can take some points there, definitely. We're away that one, according to my page on my website. Yes, we're away on that one. Fulham, yes, always like playing Fulham as well. I'm not a massive fan of Hotspur Park, but we've always had a good day out there, and we always try our best against Fulham. So and we've got Cambridge United coming up as well at Champion Hill. That could be a nice day.
Yeah.
We'll get a few in through the gate for that one. Liking the sound of that one. So yeah, looking forward to Christmas. But we've got nearly a month break now, haven't we? I don't know how that affects training and the team in general, really. But don't know if.
Yeah, the team will train next week, and then they essentially have 2 weeks off, I think. And
Okay,
then
yeah.
come back the week before the Cheshire match.
Yeah. Is 2 weeks about right, do you think, for a break for the girls?
God, it feels tiny. It feels tiny,
Yeah.
but I think with where we are in the league and where well, I'll ask you, how do you feel? Would you take more of a break? You're the one
Well, I don't think so, to be honest. Like, I think especially after building a little bit of momentum after Sunday's game, like it's almost,
Yeah.
I guess, a little bit of a shame that we have to stop, but equally,
Yeah,
like,
there's that. Yeah.
still got a lot of injuries, and so hopefully that will give it a bit of time for people to come back in the new
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely.
Well, and finally, just before I conclude, I like to provide an update on the spicy reserves. And in the last four games, as follows. The last four games have ended on winless streak of losing to Camden Town at home, losing 3-2. I was at that game and was bitter, but I don't blame anyone. But they really did all they can. And then the last three was more away on the road against Ashford Town Middlesex in the London and South East Regional Women's League Cup, losing 6-1 to Ashford Town Middlesex, then followed by the last two league matches on the road, losing to Hammersmith 5-0, which Helen was playing by the way, and followed by the last game against Bromley featuring the twins. Well, one of them, Morgan, plays for them now, and he is still like recovering from the injury, which Erin said wished her all the best of her recovery. Brit, you played with the reserves earlier this year. What was like for you with the players you already know and some were new to you? And Helen, you've known her of like playing with AFC Phoenix before Dulwich Hamlet. As a coach, what was like delivering instructions in training and played in the games you played before well, since after when you stopped playing regionally last season?
Are you asking what? So what? Sorry, what is the question around Helen delivering instructions? Is that what you're saying, or what was it like playing with the reserves?
I was more asking like, when you said you said earlier and was it in pre-season or earlier in the beginning of the season, you were playing with the reserves and like trying out with them since you wanted to play a bit of football again since you missed it so much. What was like when you were playing under her?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, playing under Helen's great. Helen is a fantastic coach. She really knows how to, she has a great culture in the team. The team are really lovely and accepting and welcoming. So it was really nice to spend time with them and play a little bit. After playing a few games, it was really difficult to juggle my role at a board level because I need to be at various games and then my role as a player. So it's a little bit too hard to juggle, particularly with kind of some of the performance elements going on. So yeah, it was great. I loved playing under Helen and Ben, the assistant coach. They're very clear around their instructions. And yeah, great coaches, and I had a good time.
And finally, before we ended on the high, just in the summary of one sentence, what is your New Year or spicy New Year resolutions to look forward to?
To get more points.
For them to get more points.
Yeah.
And David?
I need to get more player interviews in the programme, so I'll be approaching one of you two to ask to make that happen. So I've run out. There was a load sent in the questionnaires, and I've run out now because I've used them all. So that's my plan for New Year.
What about you? What about you, Johnny?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll still keep continuing watching you as always.
Excellent.
Appreciate that.
And that is all the time we have. And I'd like to thank you, Brit, DJ Monki, and David coming back. Well, thank you, Brit and DJ Monki, for coming on, and David for coming back.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
No problem.
Very welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Johnny.
And just before you go, for people listening back on the show, you can listen now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Will be available during this week in due course, so I'll get it out so you can listen to the 3 episodes back to back to back to back. If you ever want to come on the next episode, it will be on the Monday, the 26th of January, the day after we played against Fulham. So to get in touch, it's Spice on the Hill, DHFCW on Instagram, and on Twitter, X is Spice on the Hill. Alternatively, you can email me. That's Johnny_Hourigan. That's HOURIGAN @hotmail.co.uk with the subject Spicy Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Hourigan. I wish you all a Merry Spicy Christmas and a Dulwich New Year. And I will see you next time on the 26th of January. And remember, over the hills, wherever you are, let's keep it burning hot. Thank you, everyone.